Hi, welcome back to True Story with John Gibson. Today's guest is Victor Martinez. Victor's an IFBB pro bodybuilder. I'm a huge fan. He's a huge source of motivation for me, has been for many years. Victor, thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you for having me here, John. Thank you.
Thank you. So,
Yeah.
I had a couple of questions I definitely wanted to hit on today, but I thought maybe a good place to start is just sort of the present, man. And,
Yes.
here we are like almost 20 years into a pro career, which is something I
Yeah.
can't believe because you don't age. Like you look
Yeah.
exactly the same, bro, as you had
Yeah.
when you turned pro. It's unbelievable. So, man, I guess with that, I'd just like to start high level. Like, what do you attribute that to, man? Your overall health seems to be great. You're still going, and I know you've had some pretty serious injuries over the years. So, man, how have you managed to just stay in the game?
Yeah, it's just it all started when I started reading Flex magazine. Flex magazine. If you noticed, remember we used to, when that was
Oh,
the
yeah.
thing, picking up a magazine
Oh,
and
yeah.
kind of reading it probably 3 or 4 times, and every time you go into it, you'll find a new article. They'll speak about a new athlete. And one of the things that always caught my eye was I would see an athlete become a pro, and you were looking forward to this athlete, pro career. And after a year or two, they would disappear. And at that time, we didn't have the social media and, just kind of like now everybody knows pretty much where most people are, unless they're off the grid, obviously.
Right.
So, yeah. So, we will only get certain things in these articles, where the person was 4 months, 6 months before the shoot, because the magazines will come out 4 or 6 months later.
Right.
Yeah. So it was very vague on their information. And one of the things I always wanted to know was why this certain bodybuilders, again, without naming names, because I know a lot of these situations happen because of life.
Sure.
Life happens. Life,
Sure.
no matter what you're doing, what art you're doing, life gets in the way. And many of us don't know how to either, deal with it. We don't have the support. And a lot of times, we can freak out. And I would just kind of say, like, you know what, if something ever happened, I'm going to make sure I fight no matter how hard, of course, with my kids being my strength and my anchor,
Yeah.
So that was more of a reason for me, regardless of injury, regardless of my personal issues. My thing was, I'm not going to leave that easily, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not going to disappear because of a bad, show, bad judging, bad this, bad that. Once the show was over, my life continued. I didn't think about what happened. My fans will talk for me. Giving that, again, a lot of the pros that would disappear. And again, I always say, you know what, I'm going to fight as hard as I can. I'm going to fight as hard as I can. And one of the things I wanted to do was, regardless of my injuries, I made sure I wanted to come back stronger, because you're never the same once you get an injury.
Right.
It's like trauma in life, a death in life, it's hard to come back, but you have to come back, because those are little things, little notches that can break you in life. But I choose to let them make me stronger. So every injury was, man, am I going to come back? And I said, you know what? I will come back. You have to trigger that in your head. And
Yes,
say, I will come back. Yeah,
man.
I'm not going to let it bring me down. I'm not, I think the worst one, obviously, my leg injury was, because that was where I left off, second place at the Olympia.
Right. The timing in your career was just, unfortunate, right?
Yeah, and it happens. I'm not one. I didn't harp over it. I didn't cry about it. All I said was, I'm going to deal with it. And whatever comes my way, that's just the way it's going to be, you know? But I'm not going to let up. I'm not going to use this as an excuse. I'm going to just find a solution.
Yeah, I think that, and as somebody who has followed your career on the peripheral as a true fan, you know, man, it was awesome to see how resilient you were through that, but two, you were right. You let your fans do the talking for you, and I was one of them. You know, you're uncrowned Mr. Olympia to me, and I think to many. But moreover, you didn't get. It sounds to me, right? You didn't get bitter. You didn't allow this to make you bitter.
No,
You kept coming, and that's what's inspiring. That's to me that's what's so inspiring.
Well, yeah. One of those things, John, is and by the way, congratulations on your show, True Story. I think it's only going to grow. It's only going to get bigger.
Thank you.
You have great interviews. You're a great interviewer. You have the skill. You know, for this, and you have your own story, and I have to say, very inspiring. You know,
thank you so much.
But one of the things about being bitter is it holds a big weight on you.
Yes,
it holds a big weight, and without you even noticing, people see that. Right. You know, they see you carrying that weight, and when people see you carrying that weight, they tend to almost stay away from you. Sure. Because they don't want that to infiltrate into their lives.
Sure.
Yeah. So,
and I'm guilty of that too. Yeah, you want to protect your own karma or energy for sure. Yeah.
People stay away, but by all means, I never, you know, put that on anybody. I could have the worst day ever, and I would never say, "Hey, John, how are you? Good. Hey, Vic, how are you? I'm good. I'm not gonna." You know, try to be the pooper of your day and that. This could be another conversation, you know, while we have, you know, a cool hangout, and when you start chopping it up, that could be a conversation. But you know what? We're gonna have a good day today,
right?
And my day's gonna be better, and I'm not gonna let, you know, this other situation dictate the rest of my day. You know?
Yeah. Man, it sounds like you're like a master at like finding balance.
Balance, and it's not easy. This is every day. Every day you go to bed, every day you wake up, that's how it starts. This is not, okay, I'm good for the year.
Right. We all wish we could live by a program. It's not that way. Like, life isn't that way. Right. I mean, to that end, though, you know, I mean, you have children, you have a job, you have your own like responsibilities in life, but like, so I guess, how do you approach that on the day-to-day basis? Like, you got things you have to do, and you do those, like, obviously you're achieving all those things. So how do you like manage just finding that balance and like getting the work done too? Is there a trick to that? Or do you just feel like, I don't know, you just do the best you can every day?
Yeah, no, the best you can. Always, if you have a project, you know, finish it. Don't, you know, I used to roll back when I was, you know, full-time at my prime. I spent a lot of time in the gym. Everything I did was in the gym. And where I think, I don't say fail, but what I didn't have in order was I should have had my team, you know, or a team to kind of, you know, deal with the business aspect. You know, I was trying to do it all, you know, open up a business, compete, my kids. And when you don't have a team, it's difficult. All of that can kind of, you know, bring you down, or not have that one thing perfect. You can't do 4 things perfect.
Right.
You know?
Can't be an expert in everything.
Yeah, so I'm doing my bodybuilding. I was good at it. I was in full control. Every workout was a great workout. Every meal I ate was a meal for a purpose, you know?
Yeah.
But now when I have a business and there was troubleshooting, but I have to go do my cardio, I have a person running my business that didn't take the business as their own. And when I did a business, it's different. When you're not there, basically, your business is doomed to fail.
Yeah.
You know, it's doomed to fail because the same person that's working for you does not have the same passion, and they treat it as a job, you know, they don't have the love for it. So, and it's a learning thing. You know, I've been trying to set up my life after bodybuilding since 2002, 2 years after I was a pro.
Wow.
And, man, I got to tell you, it was trying to fight tooth and nail.
Sure.
I opened a gym, you know, jealousy will happen, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Jealousy is part of mankind, and I call it man not so kind, actually.
Right. I know, it's true. So I know we're so competitive, and it's crazy. The older I get, the less I get away from that stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
want to help
don't
more
take
people.
Favors. No favors anymore. You know, I don't do favors. Everything has to be work or something to help. You know.
Yeah.
If I'm helping, I don't consider that a favor. I'm doing it for you. I see you building a gym, you know, trying to do a restaurant. All I can do is come in and tell you, share with you my mistakes, you know. You know, here are my mistakes. This is what I make. I'm not going to tell you how to run your business. I'm not going to tell you who to hire, what to do. But if you do this, this is what happened to me. And I give people kind of a little template where they can say, well, I'm not going to do that because
sure.
Victor did it and it didn't work. So, so that's what I like when people share with me. And a lot of times people don't share with me. And I noticed that over the years, people, so I don't take the word friend lightly anymore. I know a lot of people, but I have very few friends.
Sure. I understand that. Yeah.
You know, you know what I mean? Like I know a lot of people. I know thousands of people, but I only have very few friends, you know. In the industry, I know a lot of people, but very few friends in the industry, you know. And the friends, they know who they are. They know who I reach out to. And even guys who I just competed with, every once in a while, they come into my thought process. And just on my thought is one of those things I believe is the universe. Why are they in my thoughts? Was it, you know, a show I saw on TV, something I saw on social media? What I tend to do is I don't ignore that thought. I call the person, send them a message.
Interesting.
Hey, how you doing? You know?
Cool. Yeah, cool.
Everything okay? Cool. That's fine. I reach out because there's been a few times where I have thought of the person. I blew it off for like, hey, let's talk. And maybe I call him in a week. Maybe I call him, you know, next week or the following week. And that week never comes because life is happening. And there's been a situation where I didn't call the person. And then I found out that the person passed away.
Yeah.
You know, so it's one of those things where it's like, wow, you know what? So when I do have that thought now, I reach out to them and just say hello. And I said, man, at least I got to speak to them. And take time. And again, this could be anybody, not just friends. It could be just somebody I met. And
that's awesome.
And it's one of those things that it keeps you genuine. And it's not asking for anything, you know.
You know, it's really interesting you said that, and this is not about me, so I'll be really brief. But I just celebrated my birthday, and I put
happy belated.
Thank you.
When was it?
It was the 6th. April 5th.
Okay.
Yeah, and I celebrated my 38th, and it was interesting because and I guess it seems like you know a little bit more about my background, but growing up in foster care and separated from my biological siblings and all, I never had a family. And so there were many birthdays, Christmases, things that went by and being in institutions, things like that growing up where you just missed birthdays and you missed those holidays and stuff. So I never took them serious for me until I had kids, and it became really important to celebrate their big days. But I say all that to say, I just had a birthday, and I woke up the other morning and I was just overwhelmed by those people that reached out. Happy birthday. And it could have been a simple text or a call and man, it made my day in a way that, like I said, I made a mental note where I said, man, next year, like for this next year, I'm reaching out to everybody I see on their birthday because it made me feel so good. So to hear you tell that, like there's a reason I'm hearing this message and I'm going to follow through with that promise I made myself, you know? There's some wisdom in that. And anyway, so I just think that's a beautiful sentiment. That's awesome. You do that. That's really awesome.
Yeah. And it only takes a text, one simple, a minute, you know, it's nothing.
For sure.
A minute. So when somebody, I also have this thing where friends say, hey, Vic, are you free this week? Sometime this week? I'm like, well, I'm not free, but I can make time, you know?
Right. Right.
Let's organize ourselves and let's make time, because
free,
we're not free. You know, how many kids do you have?
Yeah, for sure.
How many kids do you have?
Oh, me too. So an 11-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old boy.
Okay. We're almost the same. I have an 11-year-old, just turned 12, and then my 2.5-year-old is going to be 3 soon.
Crazy, right?
Oh,
big difference. Interesting, right?
No. Listen, I mean,
yeah, change your life.
Job.
Yeah, and all the way, it's interesting that you brought that up. I appreciate that too, because you had just recently, and I wish I had more information. You could tell me more about it, but I saw that you recently volunteered with an autistic event for children, ASD, and my son is on the spectrum. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And he's 3, so we're learning a lot. And he's a miracle, my man. But how did you get involved with this foundation? And I'd love to learn a lot about that.
Two of my sons. Wow. My first son was severely autistic. I was 19 years old. My girlfriend at the time was 16. We were too young. And I remember, my dad had, it was rough, with my dad. I left my house at 17 because he didn't want weights in my room, even though it was my room and this is the only thing I was doing.
Right.
He just had a peeve. Well, he had a peeve for anything I focused on. I would draw and I would sit down minding my own business drawing, and he goes, what the fuck are you doing? That doesn't pay bills. I'm like, right. I'm just drawing because it's something I like. And hopefully down the line, who knows what it will come out to,
Yeah.
So the drawing was an issue. So I said, if I'm going to draw, I'm going to do it at school now, only in the after school program. Then my mom at 16 bought me my weights. And then I was packing my room with like 5 of my friends. And, yeah, and the weights. I mean, I told the neighbor downstairs who used to drink beer, and I said, listen, I'll buy you a 6-pack a week and don't mind the noise.
Awesome.
Yeah, but it bothered my father. It bothered him, that I was in the room with guys, even though we weren't in the street corner. We were upstairs. He saw where we were. And it was just a peeve. My father was just old. I mean, my father was so old that I thought he was my grandfather.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was in Dominican Republic until I got back to the country. I finally, started seeing him, and I said, damn, this guy is an old bastard.
Yeah.
But since he threw out my weights, I say, if you throw out my weights, I'm going with them.
Yeah.
And it was,
you were serious.
One of those things. Yeah. When my son was born, I was 19. I remember being so excited and just nervous at the same time. It's the scariest thing in the world.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
I like to show, one of the things I do when I do go to junior high schools and high schools is just, guys, whatever you do not have kids, if under, I would say under 25 or whatever, until you get your career.
Yeah.
You know,
how to get established. Yeah.
Yeah. So my son was born. I'm making all these promises to myself. It's going to be, I'm going to give him everything. I'm going to teach him everything. And then autism then wasn't as prevalent. It wasn't understood.
Yeah.
And when I couldn't make the eye contact, I couldn't speak to him. He wouldn't listen to me. And I blame myself. I wasn't even thinking autism, or mental issue. I just thought, man, I messed up,
Wow, man.
I messed up.
Sorry you felt that way, man.
Yeah.
But you didn't understand. There was no information then. Yeah. Very little.
No information. I'm looking at him, I'm feeling bad. I would move mountains for him just so he can be that kid, like every kid in the neighborhood, and it put me in the deep end. I was pretty much gone, And I remember I was very antisocial from 19 all the way up until probably the age of 21. And that was when I really got deep into bodybuilding, and I would meet people in the gym, but every day it was lingering over my head. My son is not okay. He's nonverbal now. He's he was about 3 years old. And that was probably the toughest time I would have. And obviously him and his mother we didn't stay together, but I knew she had a hard job. And I said, I want to be around as much as I can, you know, and I'm not going to avoid you. I'm not going to do this, but just let me be involved.
Yeah.
You know, let me be involved. And unfortunately, not all mothers are kind to just let the father be involved if they're not together. I'm not speaking for all women. You know, I'm not saying they're all like that, but even women will agree they do use kids as a tool.
Sure.
You know, as a weapon against their father, you know, fathers against their mother, because the only person that's losing there is your child.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it should always be a neutral ground. You know, we don't get along. We don't speak. When it comes to our child, we should unite. We should
be a team.
Fight.
Kid,
yeah, it has to be a team. So when it was time to, you know, I wasn't happy, you know. You couldn't tell, but again, like I said, I was antisocial. I wasn't the outgoing person. And when it came time to be praying for shows, I would just have my foot in life, which is hanging out with friends, one foot in the gym. And the shows were coming up. And I said, you know what? If I'm going to do a show, if I'm not going to do it for myself, I'm going to do it for my son. You know, so every show I did became a show for one of my kids. So I could literally say every show that I competed with and which one of my sons or daughter were born while I prepped for that show.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it kind of interlinks, you know. It's this like when I was 19, the Elmo show was for my first son, you know. That was the first show I ever did.
That's beautiful. I'm going to tell you something I don't think you're aware of, because I did the research, and I hope, knowing that, I want you to tell all your kids this too. You may not be aware, and I wrote this down. I want to make sure I say it right. You have the record in the IFBB out of all of the active competitors and retired competitors. You broke Chris Cormier's record for the most top 10 finishes ever in the IFBB. You're at 39 top 10 finishes. You've only placed out of the top 10 3 times in your entire career. Yeah. He was at 38, and he was out of the top 10 5 times. So you beat him by 1, champ.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. I'm going to call Chris later.
Yeah, let him know. Let him know. But I was doing my research, and I was like, damn. Yeah. You know, I mean, you've just all, you know, and anyway, so that's a little fact, I think. But, you know, something to celebrate, man. Your kid kept you super successful.
All right. No, that's great. Look at that. These are stats that you just shared with me that I will make sure I'll jot them down. So if you can text it to me,
I'll love it to you for sure.
Because I have a lot of my nephews. I always wanted, you know, we say we live life with no regrets, but one of my only regrets was not serving in the military. I always wanted to do it.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, I wanted to do it. It wasn't about, a president, or it was just to serve. Serve. And unfortunately, my civilian life had me in a few problems that they would not take me, because when you have open cases, court for fighting, most of it was fighting. Nothing I'm proud about, but it was things that made me who I am today, you know?
Sure.
My nephews are in Navy, Army, Air Force. And they always say, man, I hate it when, my fellow, guys in the military will come up to me and start giving me your stats.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything about my uncle. You know, I don't know anything about my uncle. And then they start questioning, he's not your uncle.
Oh, man, I'll text it. I'm happy to. That's awesome. You know, the interesting thing is, you know, you probably would have, I was never in the military, so I don't know, but I imagine you would have done really well, because the discipline your life has taken just to be successful.
Yeah. It was just something I really wanted to do again. And it all had to do with a lot of my friends are police officers. A lot of them are detectives, you know, they're in the court system, correction officers, even internal affairs, you know.
Yeah.
So you know, I make sure I use my internal affairs contact to scare certain cops away.
Yeah, it's funny how it's interesting you say that too, because you know I grew up and I got in some trouble growing up a little bit. Nothing serious and nothing I'm proud of either, but also fights, mostly fights. But I say that to say when I found jujitsu, I started training with cops all the time, and they became friends and stuff. And I never thought, you know, in my mid 30s, if you'd asked me in my 20s if I'd had like a bunch of handful of like cop friends, I never would have thought that were possible. You know,
you and me both. You and me both. Trust me. You know,
it's really
some
fun.
of the things we were doing was like, oh my God, this is.
But you know, looking for that mentorship. Yeah, I'll say. You know, seeking.
Yeah. So I do know a lot of cops, and it kind of, you know, well, all the things that you see on the news. With a handful of bad cops, people automatically translate that into all cops.
Right.
And you know, it's all a game until it's not. You know.
Yeah. And it's important to remember everybody, we're humans. We're humans. Let's treat each other like humans.
Yeah.
And I think most of us do. You know, I really think most of us do. It's without focusing on the negative. It's really easy to put a magnifying glass on the scary stuff.
Right away.
Good neighbors, you know. But,
right away. So I say I always treat the cop situation on a trial by trial cases. You know, that's one cop, but guess what? I can show you another 50 cops that are, you know, supersede that one bad cop. And it's I understand it's the country. You know, the country was built differently.
Yes.
This country, and a lot of bad history and a lot of misinformed history.
True.
Is guiding us this way, you know. And this is I call it, you know, divided states of America, because I never seen it so divided, but it's still a country I've been living in. I became a citizen in 2019.
Congratulations.
So now, you know, my friends gave me a new nickname because of that. You know, I'm not only the Dominican Dominator, I'm also the impregnator, because I have so many damn kids. You know, I'm up to 6.
That's fitting, man. I was gonna say, you can't look at a lady. You can't even look at
No, I don't give hugs or handshakes anymore. You know? And then the last name they gave me was it was the undeportable, you know.
That's good too.
Yeah, they try to deport me, you know, 2 times. And again, it's like, listen, I don't want you to take care of my kids. I need to stay here so I can take care of my own kids, you know.
Sure.
But life has been definitely very colorful, and I now fight and make decisions to not ever end up in that route. It's just we're tested every day. We're tested every day. I look at your story, what you've been through.
Appreciate that.
And it's I have to say, you know, respect to you. You know, I know you're a great father, and now you have, you know, all that stuff that's happened to you. I think your kids made it all, you know, kind of, you know what, I'm here now.
Totally. Yep.
I'm here now. All those things were my challenges, and you could have easily used that as an excuse.
But I feel the same way about you, Victor. You know, you're someone that inspired me for years because of that stuff. And more than in the injury, you know, getting locked up, things like that. I understand that. And it may have been bodybuilding that was that common thing that made me find you. But there's character there. And you took the words out of my mouth. It's so easy to give up. It's the easiest thing you can do is quit.
Oh, come on. That's the easiest thing, you know.
You can do, you know, but it comes down to living with the voice in your head and heart, and to be able to pick up a dumbbell again. And I hate to deduce this just to bodybuilding, but I'm going to use that as the example. But you got up for your kids, you know, you got up, you worked out with all this stuff. Life is hard, man. Managing relationships with your ex, with managing, you know, a special needs child. I didn't know you had a special needs child. Even more respect to you, because I navigate that every day. And, you know, I understand, you know, and all those things. So, man, it's just, you're a walking inspiration. I'm telling you, you really are.
No. I think that the work continues. The work continues. There's still a lot of work I have to do. My kids are getting older, more expenses. And again, like, as I was telling you before, I was planning my life after bodybuilding since 2002. The gym didn't go right. You know, the landlord swindled me. And again, that's something not even worth discussing. I had a clothing line. You know, the person just robbed the entire place. My partner. And then I did a restaurant where I went into a franchise, which I am not a big supporter of franchises anymore. And now when somebody says, hey, I want to do a franchise, I really steer them away from it, because I said, what do you like about the franchise that you can't do yourself?
Yeah, interesting.
You know, I would say work for the franchise, learn it, do your own spin-off name.
Sure.
You know, because a franchise is, you're buying a job. Now, how good of a job are you buying? You know, is it a career? I mean, you're giving somebody money for an idea they created, but you're going to have better ideas and you won't be able to make any changes at all.
Yeah, interesting. Right. Yeah. Because you have to follow their model, right?
Yeah. So I'm a big believer in not owning franchises or, you know, buying into it. It's just my experience. People can take it for what it's worth.
Sure.
And I always share my information with people, you know. Yeah. So failing with the restaurant, I tell you right now, I can do a restaurant. I can save people a lot of money in a restaurant. Doing a gym, I can do the same thing. I can help somebody with a gym, save a lot of money in the gym. You know, these are all experiences. And with the clothing line, I'm looking at right now, I'm partnering up with Raul Peñaranda.
Okay.
He's a big designer. And we're coming back, you know.
Awesome.
I know we're coming back and we're going to start. And I'll make sure hook you up with some of the gear.
Oh, bro. Hey, I'm happy to buy. Yeah. Let me know. I'll be the first order.
I'm starting with pants. Pants because pants are the hardest things. I could put on any T-shirt that I can pick up free at a show and I can work out with it, you know?
Right.
But pants are one of those things that are so hard to get and buy and fit into. But that's one of the things I'm coming back with. And then the gym idea is also right now it's going back into play. So
man, you working hard, working knowledge. People take this man up on this for sure. Yeah. He has a lifetime of experience, and as a business owner, former business owner, there, like you said, even if it's just to offer what not to do, this is what I learned. That's a huge benefit. That could decrease the learning curve for somebody. A lot of pain, help them avoid a lot of pain. You know.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's wonderful. You're willing to do that and
and
consulting work, you know?
Yeah, and I do it. I mean, my friend just said the other day, hey, my girlfriend is opening up a gym. I think she was buying a place, equipment for like 20 grand. I was able to get her the same equipment for 9 grand, you know? So there you go. Now you have, you saved all this money. Was able to give her some free equipment people offer me, and I want to pick up, you know, more projects, but the before you mentioned the Fit for Autism, so I started this about 2008.
Wow.
2008, and I said there's nothing for autism, and one of the things I noticed when it comes to autism is kids with autism will relate to anything physical because it connects the mind to the body. So anything that has to do physical, that's what I think parents should, you know, have their kids doing.
Yeah, it helps for sure. That sensory seeking. My son definitely, he was doing push-ups. He was almost nonverbal until he was about 2.5, but the kid was doing push-ups at 1. He was just seeking.
There you go.
You know, I was like, man, these gifts.
And that connection helps. That connection, just a push-up, a pull-up, a baseball game, anything. And I know the challenges are not going to end overnight. They're always going to have the challenges. Then they're going to also have the people that don't understand it. They don't understand it. So what they don't understand, they fear or they hate or they speak bad about it. You know, I hate when somebody wrote to me the other day, oh, thank you for doing the Fit for Autism. This is great to make them feel, you know, normal. I said, no, they are normal.
Right.
There's no normal. As a matter of fact, normal is too cliche because some normal people are the worst people.
For sure.
You know? So there is no normal, you know.
Right.
He's a child with a challenge. That's all it is. And every day he's fighting this challenge. So, you know, get that right. And let's not say, you know, get them to feel normal, you know. They're happy, they're eating, they're enjoying life, and they're learning new things every day. So
how's your son doing now? Is he doing, you know, how's he doing?
Yeah, I have my my 20-year-old. He always comes to the events. He loves it. Yeah, he loves it. He works out. I did not teach him that.
Really?
You know?
Awesome, dude.
No, he works out. You know, his mother got married, but he decided to just start eating healthy. Started reading about gluten. Doesn't eat gluten, and just this is just, I mean, him on his own.
Yeah,
I mean,
interesting. Yeah.
And he's he reminds me of me actually when I was younger, when I was in my serious days.
Really?
When I was 19. Yeah, because
cool, man.
He is so serious. Wow. And I give him a hug and he just pushes me away. Not here, Dad. You know, not here. But he's just, there's nothing he can do that will ever get me angry, you know. Yeah. You know, other, you know, even, you know, he knows when to stand up for himself. You know, he helps his mother a lot, helps his brother. And, you know, just a good, I mean, he's nothing short of an angel.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
So that's great. Yeah. My oldest one, unfortunately, I haven't seen in a while because his mother is still, you know, rolling on angers of high school, you know. I mean, I took care of him for as long as I could, and regardless, I think that they had us do child support to 18, and I said, no, I refuse to do it till 18, you know. I want to do it till he's older.
Yeah.
They said that we can do it up till he's 21, and I said, you know, that's fine, but I want to keep helping. And since she disappeared, I said, well, I mean, I don't mind helping. I don't mind doing this, but I don't even know your address, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And not seeing my son, it's one of those things that has me, you know, it makes me sad, you know, like right now thinking about it. But I know I will see him again. I know I will see him again. Hopefully she can come to grips and just say, you know, just see him, you know, like what is she getting out of it? I know what I'm not getting out of it. And it's just spending time with him. But, you know, our kids, they're my motivation. They're my reason not to quit. They're the reason why I wake up grateful every day. The reason I go to bed grateful. And, you know, we just got to work harder now.
That's true. And never stop.
That's it. Never stop, you know. Yeah. So what are you doing next? What's your next big project?
You know, a lot of well, for me, I'm getting neck surgery. So I'm going to get my C6, C7 fused.
You're doing that front up.
Yeah, right through the front. It's going to
put it back. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's outpatient. I mean, it's supposed to be like a 4 to 6 week kind of recovery window. But I ruptured the C6 and kind of fragmented in the spinal column about 5 months ago. And I did physical therapy, chiropractic. I did everything I could do. And I went in for a MRI last week, got the results, and they said, hey, we need to fuse. So just
how did it happen? Was it an accident?
Jiu-jitsu, just training.
Jiu-jitsu,
yeah, just a chokehold. But it wasn't anything crazy. It was just years of that, you know. And it just, when I should have zagged kind of a thing.
I love martial arts. I love martial arts. I did Kung Fu for a little bit. I boxed for a little while again. But once you get into bodybuilding, you kind of start negating all those, you know.
Well, man, your genetics were perfect for it. You were built for it.
Yeah.
You were built for it, for sure. I mean, it would have been a man. You know how I know that too as a fan? I mean, obviously, look at you and the muscle you maintain and have. But like coming back from when you broke your arm, that was an interesting one because that was like at your age and everything. I was like, I don't know, man. Like the leg was scarier, but the arm was one where I was like, I don't know that's when you come back from. And
the leg
back like nothing. And it physically it looked so good that I was like, man, wow.
John, I have to tell you, the leg, the whole problem with the whole leg injury was because I was this close to defending the title in 2008.
Yeah.
And so that was that. But then I said, you know what? Let me focus on healing. Forget the show. This year's gone. You know, let me do whatever it takes to come back. And I actually did my first show a year after my injury.
Wow, that was so quick. I had no idea.
Yeah, it was. I got injured in 2018, 2008 in February, and I competed in the Arnold in 2019 in March. And was it easy? Oh my God, no, it was not.
Yeah,
the pain, it was just, I mean, unbearable to a point. You know, we were using the pain pills and that's, you know, pharmaceuticals making America addicted. And, you know, that's
slippery slope. Yeah.
Slippery slope. And I remember reading articles about, you know, Paul DeMayo, I was a big fan of his.
Yeah, big fan too. Yeah.
And, you know, it's one of those things where I said, man, I know I'm in pain. I know I'm using this, but I also know I don't want to be on it. And, I had the last 3 months before the show, I went just cold turkey, and I felt every pain.
Yeah.
But the pain makes me feel alive. You know, I'm good at handling pain. You know.
Yeah. You must be. I mean, the pain threshold of, what you put your body through, and that's one thing that one of the generic questions I had that I'm glad we didn't get to, but in a way we're getting to it, is that like I know this I've done one bodybuilding show. I did one stage show, and this was years and years ago before there was a physique, which I probably should have done. But anyway, and it gave me tremendous respect for you, for any bodybuilder, because I know what that process was like, to diet and to go through that and to kind of live without, and then to rebound afterwards, kind of all that on a small scale. I know it. It gave me so much respect. And I was like, if people only knew, there's such a misconception out there about the body, like really what you put your body through just to train, let's say 6 days a week. Let's just say 6 and one 2-3 hours a day. But the diet is 24/7, and the toll it takes, I don't think people understand at all. You know, how do you speak to that, man? Just the misconception. What do you think what do you get hit with? Like, do you get hit with like the same random question? It's just people, you're like, that's ridiculous.
Well, they think you just snap out of it. They think you just snap out of it, and it was just something you woke up and you're fine. That's it. This was every single minute of the day challenge.
Right.
You know, and like I said, that was the leg injury, but the arm injury, I had just gotten out from, immigration, 8 months. I'm just bouncing back.
Yeah.
And
I know you were big.
It was a promoter. Being a nice guy. He asked me to arm wrestle. I didn't want to arm wrestle. I'm not an arm wrestler. He kept pestering me. All I asked for him was, I need a meal. I need to go to the gym. I wasn't even supposed to be at the venue until the next day.
Wow.
And he kept pressing me. And that's why now when somebody presses me more than twice, I tell him, listen, you just made me not ever want to do that. So I stick to my guns now. And that was just a favor, me being, friendly. And it was just supposed to be a photo op. And they wind up getting into arm wrestling, and the guy literally jumps and puts his whole body weight on my arm. And right before I pull it off, it just snapped. And I said, John De La Rosa was with me, and I said, my arm broke. Need to go to the hospital. And that was just the beginning of the worst part, because I had to find a good doctor. I didn't want to come back to New York since it was in Mexico. I flew to California. Went to the hospital, had to go through 3 doctors.
Oh my God.
They wanted to do a arm brace where they basically compress your arm until the bone hopefully aligns, and you stay like that until it heals. And I said, it's impossible. I'm not even a doctor, and I know me with this muscle is not going to work.
Yeah.
Finally, I found Dr. Jeff Cope over at UCLA Medical Center, referred by a friend of mine, a doctor in Brooklyn. And this guy said, we go to surgery in 3 days. It was $25,000. I remember I was working for MHP, and I just said, you have to give me the next 3 months payments ahead, because I have to pay cash,
Wow. Yeah.
So it was so bad that I think I was living on about maybe $500 a month after that, because I wasn't competing.
Understand, Victor, man. We think you're a millionaire. We think,
No.
yes,
I
well,
wasn't
you read the Flex
competing.
magazine, and you think, man, you think everybody's like Jay Cutler,
No, I just came out of immigration, so it was like I lost everything, the restaurant, you name it. So now I have a little bit of money left. Now I have to use it for my arm surgery.
Yeah.
And you think after surgery it was fine? I had no feeling. I had the medial radial nerve that runs down your arm and connects down to your hand. I literally cannot move my hand.
Wow.
And that was probably the scariest part. And I said, you know what? I'll get my feeling back. I know I will. I'll get my feeling back. And I went to see a blind guy in Tampa. He did some trigger points on my arm. I swear the thing only took like maybe 15, 20 minutes. And my friend Ken actually took me to him. He researched him. We went to the boondocks in Tampa. He saw us. So only 15 minutes, hit the trigger points. He goes, your feelings should come back within a week or two. And I'm like, what did you just do anyways? But I do know he did make good cookies that night.
So they work.
And I wish I'll get his name, because my feelings did start coming back. I was able to finally start gripping. To recover, I had moved to Miami for a month. And I remember going to the Masters, Mr. Olympia. I think that was the last one that I think Dexter won it.
That's cool, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm there with my cast and looking slim as hell, But it was scary. Yeah, and then guess what? Guess how I came back?
How's that?
The injury happened in September 2012. And I remember the Russians calling me in January, and they said, Victor, we want to help you get back. Want to help you get back. Come to Russia. Give us a list of all your meals. We're going to do some seminars and just work out. And flew to Russia. And man, did they help me. Alex Vajaneski. I have to say thank you. He took me to 5 different cities.
Wow.
Love the Russians. I mean, I don't care what they say in the news or whatever, because of the whole conflicts. But the Russian people in of itself, great people. When it comes to being an athlete, it's a great community.
Yes.
And they did help me, and I was able to do the New York Pro that following May. Yeah,
that is so awesome. Wow, that's amazing that's how that worked out for you. You were able to get that support. That's really cool. That's really cool. And New York is your show, man. That's like that is your show. That's synonymous. So do you feel like I mean, I hate to even say the word, but do you feel like retirement's on the horizon? Are you ready to kind of switch gears? And
I mean, the retirement to compete, I feel no need. Like, I want to compete. The last 2 years I competed was because my client, Miguel Lasses, he just a jewelry designer. Unfortunately, he just passed away last year.
Sorry to hear that.
The COVID hit him. Then he had heart condition, and it's one of those things that it happened so sudden. But I remember we had a back workout. He's about to walk away, about to head home, and I said, Miguel, stop. Are you in a rush? He said, no. I said, let's go grab some pizza. And we hung out for 2 hours. Awesome. And that was the last 2 hours we spent together. But he was basically one of these guys like, you're going to compete? You're going to compete? Like, and I said, well, are you going to fund my competition? Because what I get paid is only for me to survive. It's for my kids. What I get paid does not finance bodybuilding. So you want to help me out? He goes, listen, of course, whatever you need. And he did. And I said, well, I won't let you down. And I got ready for the Arnold 2019. And then he said, can you do it again? And I said, do it again. I said, well, let's go. Let's do it again, 2020. That's when I was actually ready to do Arnold, Ohio. I wanted to do Australia for the first time.
Yeah, that would have been fun, right?
And then Brazil. I was going to end it with Brazil.
Wow.
And a pandemic shattered many things, you know.
Ninth, right? Ninth place, is that right? And
yeah, eighth. I mean, I don't even count after fifth.
oh man, you look good though. Like for
No,
you,
no,
I know you're so
man,
competitive, but bro, like that was good. That was a good showing. Like, yeah, that was
man.
awesome. Yeah.
No, I managed. I was happy. I was happy Arnold at least got us all to do the show. I know it got political where they wanted to close the entire event.
Yes.
Arnold fought hard.
Oh,
I love doing the Arnold show because it's not just the show. It's just the way he treats it so personal, you know. He knows the sponsors. He goes up to every sponsor. He knows the athletes. If you competed once at one of his shows, Arnold will call you by your first name. And
that's awesome. Yeah.
When he was calling my name, it just didn't register. Victor, it's got to be one of his security guys. It's got to be one of his right-hand man. And I love Arnold so much because I only, you know, I read his book. I have his book.
Right.
Total Recall. And it's not just, you know, who he's been creating over the years. I know a lot of friends that know him here in New York when he spent time in New York City. The thing with Arnold, if you noticed, every movie he does, his friends, he hires his friends to work in his movies.
I've seen those same guys. Yeah, the Russian
most
guys,
actors. Most actors are like, no, where's my next movie? Where's my pay? Everything. They become real divas. Yeah. But Arnold is, and even Sylvester Stallone, you know, these guys hire their friends, you know. They hire their friends. They stay true. They say, if I'm going to do this movie, I want my friend in there. And that's why Arnold is beyond, you know, politics. Arnold's beyond bodybuilding. He's just a human being, like, you know, like none other, you know. I agree.
Yeah. There'll never be another, you know. I mean, there's more charisma, intelligent. I mean, the guy,
sharp, very smart. You see how he is with his kids. I mean, it's just I mean, I learned from him. I learned from other good fathers, you know. Am I the best father? Am I a good father? I strive every day to be a better father. This is not anything I can say, yes, I'm a good father. No, this is, you know, the way my daughters, you know, turn out to be as adults, that will determine how good of a father
we'll see, right? Yeah. I understand. That's my, like, truly, sincerely, I think, that's my goal. At the end of the day, it's like your kids. It's what legacy we leave with them. And also, are they able to kind of, you know, I want them to be better than me and not in achievements, but as people, like stand on.
Let me close this thing here because I'm getting blunt. All right. There you go.
So we're coming up on the time here, but I do want to get one more kind of question in here, I guess. And you touched on it a little bit, but do you have kind of just words of wisdom, like something you like to leave just for anybody listening? I mean, I feel like your life story, you've overcome a lot, and we've covered a lot of that, but overall, you're so positive, man. Like
no, you have to be. You have to be. But one of the things, and this is something I've learned within the last couple of years, you know, there are going to be a-holes in the business, in life, you know, at work, in school, many students in school, you know, the bullying, all that stuff. I always say, you know what, let that be a pastime. Don't hold grudges. Don't hate. When somebody says, oh, I know you hate me, I said, listen, I don't even love you, so how can I hate you?
Nice.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm not going to hold a big grudge, because the weight of holding that hate and that grudge will ultimately bring you down, and it can get you sick. It will get you unfocused. And you know what? It is what it is. But just remember, all you can do is remember. Don't forget, because the world does a full circle, you know?
Yeah.
And those people will circle back to you, and just remember how they treated you. So when they do need the help, you tell them, listen, I'd love to help you, but I don't owe you anything. You know, will you forgive? It depends the level of you know, how they affected you.
Sure.
You know? Yeah, it depends on the level, but I don't forget. I don't ever forget. I see how people will either see me in the industry Some are great, some are consistent, some have a big chip on their shoulders, and you kill them with kindness.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm not going to treat you the way you treat me, but don't expect me to do more than what I have to for you.
Yeah. Right.
You know, and my main goal is, again, you know, it's I help, I share, and I don't do it and say later on, hey, remember that thing I did for you? I don't ever do that. You know, this is just, I do it genuinely with no payback in return. If you're successful, I find that, you know, as my success as well. And just, you know, share, you know, help somebody get up top, help somebody get ahead.
Yeah.
And don't expect anything back, because you're going to have a much better payment if you do it with, you know, with pure genuinity. You know, you have to be genuine about it.
Man, awesome. Thank you so much, Victor.
No, thank you,
that,
John.
man, I
thank
think
you.
you can call it. Thank you again. This is a True Story with John Gibson. It's such a pleasure today. It was today's guest, Victor Martinez. Thank you.
Thank you. And everybody, please keep tuning in to more True Story coming on in the near future. All right.
Thank you. My man, Victor. Thank you.
Thank you.